Hi, my name's Lynsey and I'm from Social Bee, and today I want to talk about video content. Video content has exploded over the last few years, especially with access to one of these little beauties, a mobile phone. So I'm joined today by my fantastic colleague Josh, who is our video wizard at Social Bee. I want to grill Josh today in how you can make the most of video and make some instant changes to get some video content out there and get some content out there to help your organization. So Josh, my first question, video seems like an awful lot of work. I know we put an awful lot of work into it because we do a lot of video, but for a business starting out today, do they need a load of equipment, and does their video need to look really slick before they jump on the video bandwagon?
Well, I've always thought that it's more important just to get stuff out there. But ultimately, I think rather than worrying about the aesthetics of a video, it's more important to focus on the purpose of the video. If it's to showcase a new product, if it's to educate your viewers on a new service that you're offering, the video needs to have some kind of beneficial value for its audience. I'd also have a set plan of what your video is going to cover, what you're going to talk about, and what your call to action is at the end of the video. So I'd have an intro, I'd have a list of key points which you're going to make throughout the video, and then I would outro it. What can take a while is if you're new to talking on camera, that can take a long time for it to feel natural and for it to flow. With that, I would recommend dropping into your Instagram stories, because you can just chuck stuff up and then not worry about it for 24 hours, or worry about it for 24 hours and then it's gone. But it's a really good way to practice talking on camera. Editing wise, depending on what you're doing, it can take a while. But again, getting stuff up there is just more important than polished content.
And if people aren't needing to edit their content, so say they've done it on their iPhone like I do content, what systems are they best to use to try and edit it that's cost effective, and you don't need to be a video geek to be able to edit bits or add bits on, do you think?
Software like iMovie, which comes on a MacBook, is very, very simple to use. And again, if you're just trimming the top and tail of videos and maybe just chopping a few things up in between, there's so much content on YouTube which can just teach you how to do that.
I've also heard of InShot. I use it in my training. So when I deliver training for organizations, whether open courses or in-house, and we do video content, lots of people are always really frightened of video. They're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And I'm not a video person. So in 20 minutes, I give people a subject, and I generally do it by table. So I'll say, right, okay, each table's going to create some video content, and they're like starting to panic. And I'm like, I'm going to give you the subject, and the subject is, what have you learned on today's course? And I want you to work as a team. And I say, download InShot, because it's a really handy video tool that you can download. It's free for 3 days. And in that video tool, I don't even need to teach them how to use it, because it's so intuitive that you open it and you realize how to use it. You video your content, you can edit it, you can add music, you can add emojis and stuff, and within 20 minutes literally every table has created their video content. The tip that you've given around is planning it ahead, doing the intro, the outro, and the key points you want to get across. Then you're less likely to need to edit anything like you at the end of the day. What about sound and lighting? So I know that can be a big thing that you need to worry about in terms of getting your video right.
To get started, I would recommend a good iPhone, natural lighting. Even if your workplace is somewhere with not a lot of light, I'd recommend a ring light. It will give you a nice whiter light opposed to a sort of yellowy hue, which you can find with like regular indoor lighting. I'd then also suggest a tripod, especially if you're doing stuff that requires both hands. If you're doing tutorials, you can pick them up from next to nothing on Amazon. Also, if you're filming anything that involves like quite a lot of motion, then I'd recommend a gimbal. It stabilizes your phone, so rather than having sort of shaky footage, it's a motorized like stabilizer.
I mean, from our point of view, we don't have a lot of kit. I mean, especially now we're all currently stuck at home, which probably need to edit out. So we don't have a lot of kit in terms of Social Bee. I've got a little mic here that you probably can't see, and I have got a selfie light, which is just to my side here, because in the office that I'm filming in today, it's in bright sunshine, so I've had to close my curtains, which makes it really dark. But then if I put this little selfie light here, which you can't see because it's on a big stand and I've just had to improvise, then it just gives you a bit more natural light. But it was like 50 quid or something. It wasn't a lot of money, but a lot of our videos are done without both those bits of kit. So I think, like you've said, the key is the purpose of what you want to get out of the video, planning ahead, and then, you know, your iPhones and Android phones, the video quality on them is so good now, isn't it? You don't need to be investing in a load of video kit.
Yeah, and like you said, not everyone has the ability to be at their workplace at the moment, so they can't even, you know, showcase what they do. So that's making people think out of the box in terms of video content. Definitely, I've seen a lot of people going live, people having to adapt to the current situation and having to change their content up. But it's good to see people still doing video, because we're all sat at home, we're all bored, we want to watch stuff, we want to see the ins and outs of a business still, we want behind the scenes. So yeah, now's the best time to get on video, definitely.
Yeah, and I think there's loads of examples of small businesses out there doing a great job in terms of video content, because they do just have access to their mobile phones. They're showing like how to bake, how to do this and how to do that, and they're literally just as if they're talking to a friend or a customer, rather than thinking about, oh my goodness, I'm in front of a screen. So it's just like you said, it's almost like putting the worry out the door in terms of getting in front of the screen and literally just talking to the screen like it is a friend or a colleague, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And like we've spoke about, people are lacking interaction. So what better time to contact your audience directly, answer some questions on a live chat and make people feel like they're still part of something.
When people have got a bit of video content, what should they be doing with their video content? How can they use it and maximize it, do you think?
If you put a lot of effort into doing something, into making a video, then don't just put it out once, put it out multiple times in a variety of different ways. Firstly, put some teasers out for the video, maybe if it's something worth, you know, building a bit of hype around. Once you've got the full video, take some snippets out and turn that into other pieces of content. So it could be just, you know, short snippets of the video of quite juicy content. You could also take some quotes out of the video and overlay them over some images.
An app that I like to use for if you want to take a screen grab of something and then put it as a thumbnail is Fonto, Phonto. So you can take a screen grab of a bit of video and then you can overlay some text. So if you then want to use it as a thumbnail or use it as a snippet to then encourage people to watch the video, that's always quite handy as well. And one other thing that we do, which is always quite useful, is when you've got a bit of video content, is if you upload it onto YouTube, then embed it on your website, because it'll help with SEO as well. Like Google owns YouTube and they do love the interaction between the two. So it's just a very simple tip. If you've written a blog about something and you've created a video content, then embed it on embed YouTube video on your blog as well.
Exactly. And even if your YouTube videos aren't getting a lot of views, it's still important to you know, get the links in the comments, because you're still going to hopefully get people clicking through to your website. Absolutely.
One question I often get asked with video content is, why would people want to listen to me? You know, why should I create video content? They almost have this well, everyone knows it already, so why me creating video content is going to add any value, and what value can I add? Like, what am I going to talk about?
Not everyone knows everything though, do they? There's videos out there for everything. I think it's very easy for all of us to forget our own expertise, especially when we're, you know, constantly working. We've had conversations, haven't we, Lynsey, where we've spoke about stuff and while we were speaking about stuff, thought this would be a good video. This would be a good video. So
basis.
Yeah, I think, you know, people want to hear other people's you know, knowledge and expertise on specialist subjects. And then of course also we've got to remember that we're all very nosy creatures. People love to see behind the scenes still, and if you open up your behind the scenes to people, in turn it can create, you know, trustworthy audiences and hopefully customers at the end of the day.
I think people want to see, like you say, people want to see what's going on behind the scenes. And I think if you, whatever sector you work in, obviously we work in digital, so you might think, well, everyone knows all this already, or we've already done a blog post about it, but you forget what you know, like you've touched on, you forget what you know expertise wise and assume that other people know that, but they don't all know that. And regardless of being in digital, you can go on holiday for a week and you're completely out of date. So creating video content can be useful. And also when you're creating video content, if you're then going on to doing podcasting, you can just pull the audio and put it into podcasts as well. And I think that's a useful tip in terms of getting more content out there, because I don't know how you like to digest content. I know you said when we were talking earlier, you like training face to face. But in terms of digesting content, do you watch content, listen to content, or read content?
Yeah, for me, if there's something I don't know how to do, it's straight to YouTube every time.
Where for Paul in our office, he likes listening and watching YouTube, where I'm a podcast person. Like, I won't read that many blogs, I won't watch YouTube very often, but I'm all over podcasting. So I think that from a business point of view, don't just do one bit of content on written content or video content. Try, if possible, at least adapt 2 or 3 of those arms. So blog content, video content, podcast content. Whether it's all 3 of those, amazing, or even if it's just 2 of those, you're then going to get at least, you know, more people listening to your organization rather than just 1/3 if you're just doing blog content or just doing video content. Try and span it across all 3. But most businesses have a blog now. They've finally cottoned on that actually it's really useful and they can keep people up to date. And people are now starting to do video content. Some people are doing it great already, but if they're a bit nervous about it, you know, we've already shared loads of reasons of why they should do it. But it's opening up that audience as well, which I think is valuable to share with people. Last question, and probably one that people are always asking about, is how long should video content take? Like, how long should I allow to create a bit of video content?
So again, going back to what I said earlier, I think the thing that takes a long time is getting in front of a camera and talking. Building your confidence to talk on camera can definitely take a while. You could have the best public speaker face to face, and then as soon as you whip that camera out, they can just clam up straight away. However, making the videos, I think, again, if you have a plan, for example, if you're doing an Instagram live or a Facebook live, if you have a plan, if you have what you want to achieve from that video, the questions you're going to ask if you're speaking to someone in that video, and then just an outro, a call to action, you know, where to find out more information. It shouldn't take long to plan, and it certainly shouldn't take long to film. With a lot of video content, I personally feel sometimes it's longer than it needs to be. If you think of people's attention spans nowadays as well, short, impactful, punchy pieces of content are sometimes going to do better than the 30-minute video or the 30-minute podcast. Again, it's how individuals digest content. Editing videos can be a lengthy process, depending on how much editing you want to do. But again, like I said previously, if you're just wanting to slice the top and tail off a video and piece it together, it shouldn't take you long at all. And then you can get into the world of overlaying text and overlaying graphics, and before you know it, you're a semi-pro videographer.
Are there any last tips that you'd like to share with people?
I would get familiar with dimensions. Just Google Instagram dimensions, Facebook dimensions, and start to learn a little bit about sizing, because the amount of videos that I've seen on Instagram where people have accidentally, you know, by no fault of their own, cut off part of their video or cut off some text. Yeah, it's a whole new world to get into. But once you learn about dimensions, you can take your content to the next level, definitely. I'd also suggest that people, again, aren't too precious with their content. Just get stuff out there, get it up. And even if you don't post it, just bank it. Keep making stuff, keep practicing, keep talking on camera. Before you know it, you'll be more than confident in front of the lens.
Yeah, I think that's a great last tip, because people will be seeing, you know, highly skilled video content from, you know, YouTubers and Instagrammers and think, oh my goodness, I don't look anything like that. But if you scroll all the way back, and I do this, I'll go to someone's YouTube page and I'll scroll all the way back to some of their first videos, and you can see how they've improved things and how they've adapted and changed their light. So I would concur that. Like, I would not worry about what the perfect, you know, don't look at what everyone else is doing. You just concentrate on you and making you better and just tweaking, but don't look for that absolutely perfect video content. And if you're not happy with it, then just, like you say, bank it. But the more you can practice, the more it will come across naturally, won't it?
Definitely. Always bank it. Don't delete, because there might be stuff in there that you need to go back to in the future. And I think it's important as well to, like you said, if you scroll down to the bottom of a YouTube channel and see the quality or the lack of quality that are in some people's videos who are now, you know, completely smashing it. Everyone had to start somewhere, and if you're like me,
I had to practice for a long time to speak on a camera, and I still struggle to this day. But it just is what it is, isn't it? It's all practice.
Yeah. I think like you say, as soon as you put a camera on, people go, "Oh my goodness!" I mean, I hate having my pitch taken, but you know, I have to talk on video, so I just get on with it, and I just think I am talking on video, but I'm just talking to Josh. So I'd almost like just put it to one side and just crack on with the conversation, and try and forget that I've got a camera here and it's actually recording everything I'm doing, because if not, you'll never do it. Perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much for your tips today. Thank you very much for listening to our video today. If you want to find out more, please head over to our website, socialbee.co.uk/blog or /hub or /newsletter, where there's lots of resources for you to find out more and lots of useful hints and tips. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thanks, Josh.